Coming up next, another day of record heat across Southern California. A first look at your forecast as we head into the weekend.
Some pretty big changes coming to those confusing bike lanes.
A team is saying goodbye to a beloved San Diego semi-pro football player tragically killed while changing a flat tire.
Ukrainian refugees allowed into our country daily, why some say this process is unfair.
And were credit scores as you know them today around before the 1980s? We verify.
And bracelets instead of bombs. How these beads are helping the people of Ukraine.
CBS 8 News live at 6 starts now. It has been hot the last few days in San Diego County, and it only got hotter today, but a big cool down is coming. Good evening, I'm Jesse Pagan, in for Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. If it felt even hotter today than yesterday, well, you're right. Carrie Lane is in for Carlene tonight. She's here early with the records we broke today and the cool down that's coming our way. Carrie?
So convenient that Carlene took the day off, so I had to bring the bad news to everybody. It was hot today. Are you ready to say goodbye to the heat? I promise you, you can, starting tonight. But first, take a look at these temperatures all throughout the county. Most places in the mid to upper 90s. It was a scorcher today. The dry air along the coast is what allowed temperatures to really warm up rapidly. And then we saw temperatures actually cool off much quicker today due to a coastal eddy that's going to cool us off over the weekend. It was beautiful outside, and record temps were broken in Chula Vista and El Cajon, both spots in the 90s. Again, cooler weather finally on the way with a chance of some showers Monday into Tuesday. Coming up, we will talk about just how cool we'll get. There's a 20-degree difference between today and tomorrow, and then I'll break down the rain for you. Guys, we'll get it back to you for now.
Thanks, Carrie. We're working for you and getting results. More changes are on the way to Gold Coast Drive.
But this time, the city says they're righting a wrong. We've followed this story all week and have worked to get to the bottom of new and confusing bike lanes on this Mira Mesa street. Mayor Todd Gloria says the streets will go back to their original design as soon as next week, which brought quite a bit of celebration from neighbors who said the lanes were confusing and dangerous.
CBS 8's Kirsten Holmes is on this story today, and she found out this won't be the last, though, that you see of those bike lanes.
I'm here along Gold Coast Drive, and I want to show you the problem, especially if you haven't seen it before. Take a look at this road behind me. You can see it here, 2 bike lanes on either side of the street. But the issue here for neighbors is that it's seemingly 1 lane for traffic. Now, this is a 2-way street, but most drivers couldn't tell since the new bike lanes were installed. And that's when we went to work for you, and we got some results, took your questions to the city, and we got answers.
As soon as they put this up, I knew it was going to be a disaster.
We were all surprised because it's crazy and they don't give us notice at all, nothing.
It's so confusing. And she knocked at my door and said, "Mom, what's happening?" I said, "I don't know. They just put those things."
That was the initial reaction to the new bike and center lane on Gold Coast Drive. Folks were not happy, and we went to work for you, not only covering the story, but asking the tough questions. And Friday morning, Mayor Gloria says,
that failure is something I regret and something we're going to fix. That next week the city will undo the bike treatment that is on this site and will return it to the condition it was prior to the street resurfacing.
But just so you know, this isn't the last you've seen of these particular bike lanes. Mayor Gloria says next time the city will get it right, even going door to door, talking to people directly affected by the new bike lanes and the confusion they caused.
We will discuss it with the community in advance, understand the concerns that are out there, and make sure that when we deploy this, that we can do it in a way that meets the community's expectations, is understood by both pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists.
But how did we even get here? Mayor Gloria says,
generally been trying to be efficient with your tax dollars and say that when we have workers out paving the streets, let's install these facilities at the same time. That urgency of making the timeline for resurfacing and adding the striping meant that we skipped the public outreach, and that can't happen. We're not going to let that continue to happen. That stops now.
And that's what happens when we're working for you and getting results.
Thank you, CBS 8, for covering this important story in Mira Mesa.
The mayor's office says on Monday morning, they'll start putting out notices letting everyone know that the changes are on the way. Then on Thursday through Monday, the next Monday, they'll start to remove all of the striping and the signage and return this street to its original order. Working for you, Kirsten Holmes, CBS 8.
If there's a story you'd like us to look into, please email us at yourstories@cbs8.com.
We're also working for you in Oceanside, where people with lower incomes in 9 mobile home parks will not see their rent go up, at least for now.
CBS 8 obtained records showing those 9 mobile home parks did not pass health and safety inspections. Last night, the city's Manufactured Home Fair Practices Commission voted that the rent cannot be increased until the health and safety code violations are fixed. 8 other parks, which did pass their inspections, will be allowed to raise their rents by 3.9%. The San Diego Silverbacks, a semi-pro football team, lost one of its own in a tragic accident yesterday, and tonight we're hearing from his heartbroken coach.
Dave Post II was hit and killed in State Route 54 last night while changing a flat tire in the center median in National City. CBS 8's Heather Hope is live in Allied Gardens, where the team had their final practice with Dave this week. Heather?
Yes, it was right here on this field where team members and the coaches got to see Dave Post II for the last time. They said they meet every Wednesday, and this one they did not know that was going to be their final meeting with Dave before they received shocking news.
He was our number 3, Silverbacks number 3.
Still in disbelief, San Diego Silverbacks co-owners Elliot and Lisa Limbrick cannot believe 22-year-old semi-pro football player Dave Post is gone.
He was an exceptional athlete. He was one of our premier wide receivers on the team. But more than that, he was the glue. He was the glue to our team.
Last night, just before 6, the California Highway Patrol says Post stopped his car in the center median on State Route 54, east of Highland Avenue in National City, to change a front right flat tire of his blue Toyota Scion. He called a fellow teammate to come and help, and when that player arrived, he says he saw the driver of a white Mazda sedan switch lanes and slam into the back of Post's car, throwing Post into the middle of the highway with severe injuries. Medics rushed him to the hospital where he died. The Mazda driver stayed on scene and cooperated with CHP investigators, who say they don't think alcohol or drugs played a role in the accident.
He was everything that you want as a coach and a player.
Head coach Elliot Limbrick says Post was like a nephew to him. He lived with his father in Skyline and worked at Foot Locker at Fashion Valley Mall.
He would come over every week, walk through the back patio, "Hi, Auntie," with his big smile.
Post played football for the LaBelle Development Football League for 2 years. Saturday's game will be tough for the team.
This game's going to be for him. I'm going to coach for him, and the players I know, they're going to definitely play for him.
For the final game of the season to be played in Inglewood, the team will honor Dave Post.
They're going to do a moment of silence for Dave. Our captains are going to carry his jersey out onto the field for the coin toss.
The CHP is still investigating the crash. The team also set up a GoFundMe for the family who would like to fly Dave Post II's body back to his home state of Texas. So if anyone would like to help out with that fund, we posted a link on our website, cbs8.com. Just click on the help button.
Heather, this is obviously a devastating loss for Dave Post's loved ones, team members, friends, family. I'm sure they're planning some kind of special tributes for him. Is that the case?
Yes, we just heard from one of the team owners that in addition to holding up his number 3 jersey for their last game tomorrow night in Inglewood on the field, they will also have a moment of silence, and they will have 10 team members come out on the field instead of their normal 11 to represent missing Dave.
All right, Heather Hope covering this tragedy for us tonight. Heather, thank you.
More than 100 Mexican nationals working in Otay Mesa warehouses are owed nearly $2 million in back wages and unpaid overtime. It's called wage theft, and the Department of Labor's investigation found the workers were being paid just $2.50 an hour and being paid in pesos. Today, the department announced federal court judgments against Columbia Export Group, PDSA, OMG Global Logistics, and Atlas Freight Forwarding. They also put other companies on notice.
This industry has thousands of players all along the entire U.S.-Mexico border. It's not just in San Diego. So we are potentially seeking to expand our investigations as we get reports from workers.
In addition to the $2 million in back wages, the companies are also ordered to pay $56,000 in penalties. To report wage theft, call the Labor Department's toll-free helpline. That number is 866-4US-WAGE.
Volunteers estimate more than 1,000 Ukrainians are at the border waiting to get into the U.S.
They're allowed entry under what's known as humanitarian parole, But as CBS 8's Shannon Handy reports, some question why people from other countries are not being allowed in, calling the entire process unfair.
I'm here at the San Ysidro port of entry, where it's estimated dozens of Ukrainian refugees are allowed into the United States daily after waiting just a few days, whereas other immigrants have been waiting for years. But some argue you can't compare the two situations because they're very different.
We need help too, says Roxana Ruiz Ramirez. Originally from Honduras, she has been staying in a Tijuana shelter waiting to get into the United States.
We, the United States, can do a much better job. It's not happening. It's not right.
Enrique Morones with Gente Unida, a human rights organization, says Roxana's story isn't unique. There are thousands of people from Central America, Haiti, and other parts of the world seeking asylum in the U.S. Most have been waiting years, whereas for Ukrainians, they're allowed in within days under a term called humanitarian parole.
I'm delighted that the Ukrainians are able to cross. They're in such a difficult situation. But all these other people that have been waiting for such a long time, they're in a difficult situation too.
But Roslana Yaroslavsky with the Group Coordinating Council for Volunteers says it's not the same thing.
I understand running from civil war and civil unrest and cartels, but if you have at least a place to stay, you have relatives over there that you can stay with, that's one thing. But when the whole town was bombed and your family members were killed during the war, it's a different situation.
Title 42, a COVID-era policy which banned migrants from coming into the U.S., is set to expire next month, at which point the border is expected to be flooded with asylum claims. As for whether or not people other than Ukrainians will be processed, in a statement, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said in part, "We have put in place a comprehensive whole-of-government strategy to manage any potential increase in the number of migrants encountered at our border. We are increasing our capacity to process new arrivals, evaluate asylum requests, and quickly remove those who do not qualify for protection."
As for that humanitarian parole, it's only good for 1 year. Beyond that, it's unclear what the process will be if these Ukrainian refugees want to stay longer than that.